Dirty trucking here. I've been kind of briefly following that Mel Tucker MSU case, and I see they went on ahead and fired him. I got mixed feelings about that. You know, I don't take sides. I didn't take his side. I didn't take that Brenda Tracy side, the accuser. But his case is mimicking what happened to me at Warren Truck Plant. You know how you know how easy it would be to make somebody believe that somebody actually harassed you. I didn't harass anybody at Warren Truck, but I got put off my job and never got back. And they went so far as to destroy my reputation and credibility by placing stuff in my file and saying all that nonsense they said about me. And I hadn't done nothing. But all these cases, this harassment stuff that comes up, seem to mimic what happened to me at Warren Truck Plant. It's as if Warren Truck Plant is their go-to script, they go-to escape to prove their case. Simply because Warren Truck Plant got away with falsely accusing me of harassment that never took place, when it was in fact the employer allowed somebody to lie, you acted on that lie, and then you engaged in that lie by putting me off my job. Then you had that individual in the labor relations office. The employer told that individual, now while I'm already off work for so-called harassment but didn't know it was harassment yet, I'm off work. You had that so-called accuser place a phone call to my home because you knew I was going to return the phone call. So Rebecca in labor relations could get on the phone and tell me this was a harassment matter. That is a setup. You put me off my job based upon something this accuser said, and then you got this accuser up in the labor relations office and had the accuser deliberately place a phone call to my home, knowing that when I saw his number on my phone, I was going to return the phone call, because at the time I didn't know I didn't know why I was off. They hadn't told me why I was off. All they told me, I need to go see the doctor to get him medication to save my job. And that is the absolute truth. But the employer was the one that had the accuser. Who does that? You have somebody that is accusing somebody of harassment, place a phone call to their home so they can call them back, but they claiming they being harassed. But then instead of that person getting on the phone, it was labor relations. This was Mario's personal cell phone. First of all, it was not a company provided phone. I wasn't even at work. I was off work. So I'm not on company time. But I'm off work being paid on the company dime for something I didn't do. So now while I'm off work, still trying to figure out why the hell I'm off work, I just returned from the grocery store, see his phone number on the caller ID. I returned the phone call, the setup phone call, and look, here's Rebecca. This is a harassment matter. We're involved. Don't call this man anymore. Rebecca needs to be fired because you set that up. The individual in labor relations at Warren Truck Plant that told him to call my home in the first place, so that phone call could be made as a return phone call so she can get on the phone, she needs to be fired because she's a liar. You set that whole situation up. And this Mel Tucker case bothers me. Now, I don't take sides. And I know how men get on the phone when they talking with women. And quote unquote now, I'm just going to put this out there. This is a black man going up against allegations of a white woman. And I'm just going to throw that out there, because we already know how this finna go. His chances was slim in the first place. This is a black man going up against a white woman with allegations of sexual harassment that took place over a phone call. Now, she's a rape victim from whenever that happened. whatever time period that happened. But Mel Tucker is not her rapist. She's accusing him of making inappropriate comments, sexual comments, and masturbating on the phone during a phone conversation. But this man got fired because of a phone conversation that I believe he admitted to. Sounds like he admitted to doing what they said he did. Now, how did the phone conversation get out in the first place? For them to bring it got out, and then this woman turns around, and now because it's out, she got to bring up harassment. She's being harassed. And then she turned around and talked about she wanted to know how it got leaked in the first place. Oh, how it got leaked in the first place. This is my opinion on it. I feel sorry the man got fired. I feel sorry the woman was ever raped by football players. But her rape has nothing to do with this case. This is a case of harassment. But they kept bringing up, she's a rape victim. And when you keep bringing up stuff like that, that draws sympathy to listeners and viewers and people reviewing the case, because that's all you hear. That's the first thing you hear. She's a rape victim. Mel Tucker did not rape the woman. Now, he may have done some inappropriate things on a phone conversation, which is puzzling me. It's a phone conversation. I mean, what man hasn't done that? Got on the phone and talked some sexual shit to a female to see if it's going to be a go. So what? She's a rape victim. But she's a woman. That rape was back then. They said she's a well-known advocate for sexual assault. I've never heard of her until this case. First of all, the Civil Rights Department says she's a well-known advocate for sexual assault. In my years of looking at documentaries and all this crime stuff, I have never heard of Brenda Tracy. At all. But this case is bothering me because it mimics exactly what happened to me at Warren Truck Plant. And I'm telling you, it seems like these people use Warren Truck Plant as they go-to script to get away with shit. Now, I filed a civil rights case with what happened to me at this previous employer that terminated me. I get contacted. She needed more information. She got signed an investigator. She needed more information. Then all of a sudden on the day, she needed to place a phone call to me to have a conversation with me. All of a sudden, she had reported phone troubles. I made myself available for an 8 o'clock phone call. Ended my day early the previous day so I can get here and get enough rest to entertain us, to discuss what she needed to discuss. And all of a sudden, I get an email from her talking about she's had an unexpected phone trouble. Phone troubles. Ain't that what happened to me at Warren Truck Plant? I got told about I'm a harasser over the phone. Ain't this what the Mel Tucker case about? Something that happened over the phone. So this case is bothering me. No. I wouldn't have been so freely to admit what I was doing when I was talking on the phone, but that's the way Mel Tucker, I don't want to say made a mistake, but he talked too freely. I don't know why he would openly admit that, because this woman on her end has not openly admitted to any response or anything she said during that phone conversation. And I'm Googling bits and pieces of information trying to find out what exactly happened here. What was her response? What did she do? Because she's not acting like somebody who's been harassed. She's been totally quiet. She hasn't said anything. And they've pretty much been sitting back This is a tactic that I see in the legal industry. See, I missed my calling. I should have been an attorney, and I've been a damn good one. And I would have loved to have tried this damn case. I really would have. I should have been an attorney, and I would love to have a go at this case because the facts here and what happened here, it just don't make sense. MSU hires this woman to be a sexual advocate and speaker against sexual violence. Okay. Paid her $10,000 apparently to come there and be a sexual advocate. You know, what happened to me is Warren truck plant is traumatic. I can't stand to be around any plant that is associated with Chrysler. I don't want to pick up workers. I lash out if I end up with somebody in my car and talking about they worked at Chrysler. I lash out. I started talking negative, cussing. Because it was a traumatic experience. I don't want to place myself around or near individuals that constantly remind me of something that took place that destroyed my life and I hadn't done nothing. So that's why I didn't understand. Okay, she's just an advocate for sexual violence. But they said she was raped by football players. And I would think something like that would be traumatic. Going back to a football field or amongst football players and standing up there talking about a rape that took place by football players. I think that would be traumatic. But maybe that's me. Maybe that's just the reaction I would have. I don't know. Maybe white women is different. You know, because they know how to take things, tragedies, and turn it into a type of monetary income. Whereas my tragedy turned into a debt for me over the years. My speaking out, my being an advocate, a sole advocate for what was done to me seemed to have turned to be some type of Detroit, Michigan joke. I'm a liar. She did this. So I was lying. I wasn't lying about shit. Warren Truck Plant is the liar. Mario is the liar. The UAW Local 140 was the liar. But see, this is what they do. When they want to cover up something that was done by one of their major conglomerate corporations like Chrysler, this is what they do. You lie. And you cover up your lie with more lies. So her being an advocate back at a place that where this rape took place would be traumatic for me. I could be an advocate speaker, but it wouldn't be at no damn football field. I wouldn't be amongst no damn football players. I'll be someone else being an advocate telling my story. I damn ain't going back to the place or like-minded places to remind me of what happened to me by football players. So that was disturbing. Hold on one second. Now, all means now, let's get this clear. Rape is a horrendous act that should never take place. You're an evil person or persons that will sit up and drug someone, snatch someone to perform an act of rape, a taking of sex by violence. It's rape. You're an evil person to do that. And to hear that she was a rape victim, I'm sorry that happened to her. But in this case, Mel Tucker was not the rapist. But everything I read about this case is in there. She's a rape victim, rape victim, rape victim. And you know what that's doing? That is putting an impression in everybody's mind already before you hear the facts of this case. What happened here? she's a rape victim. It's putting the impression in your mind to already to have sympathy. Everybody has sympathy for somebody that something horrendous happened to them. There's people that that sympathize with what happened to me, even though I didn't get justice. But did what happened to me to be brought up with what I'm accusing somebody of now. The only way you can bring that up is if you were in direct involvement of that. And I say that to say this. When you put an impression in somebody's mind, this is, oh, she's a rape victim. See, I take a step back. She's a rape victim. I've heard that. He's made sexual comments and was so-called masturbating on the phone. Phone sex. I've heard that. Even though I've heard both sides of this, it's still puzzling to me how this went on. First of all, whose phone was this on? Was it a cell phone? Was it in any MSU property? Did this take place on MSU property? See, there's a lot of details and facts left out of this that we don't know about. And it's kind of ironic that the phone call got leaked in the first place. You ain't never thought about that? But she talking about who leaked it. Who leaked it? It had to be one of the two. Either he talked about it or she talked about it. Now, unless you telling us the phone call was recorded. See, that's why I say I wish I was an attorney. I miss my calling. I would have been if not an attorney, hire me to investigate the case. Prior to it needing to go to court. I should have been an investigator of stuff like this. Prior to it needing to go to court. It probably wouldn't even make it to court. Because the whole case would be proven or disproved during my investigation. Everything would be found out and discovered. Everything that would come out in court would come out in my investigation. There would be no need for the court. Because I find it all out. Because that's what I like to do. I like to get to the truth and the bottom and the root of allegations and problems and situations. That's me. I've always been that way. I like to get to the truth. I tell the truth. They think Warren Truck painted me as a liar. And these people out here in the streets, every time it's a case, they coming around fucking with me, thinking something I did back in my past is supposed to help them make decisions on the case here. And when you've been using a company that lied to prove your cases, Warren Truck Plant lied. And I would understand if Warren Truck Plant was a script, an act or a scene, an app to be purchased to get away with something, I would understand why people would use them as a go-to, because they was able to get away with the most heinous act of putting me off my job, painted me as a harasser, accused, and I'm a liar, I'm crazy, and got away with it. Oh yes, this would be, if there was an app or something to purchase, they would be the most profitable because they got away with it. But this case bothers me because it was a phone call conversation. I don't know if it's mentioned somewhere where it took place, because I haven't found it. I'm just Googling bits and pieces of it. We don't have all the information. But this whole case is based off a phone call. Now, this is what's disturbing to me and what's bothering me. And the man got fired. And I'm sorry he got fired. I'm sorry that they took actions and fired this man over something that took place over the phone. And ain't nobody thought in their mind, how would a private phone conversation between the two of them get leaked in the first place? For her to now start going around, now she got to go get the Civil Rights Department and go through this thing. I mean, she was harassed on the phone. And it's because hadn't it got out, would she have said anything? Because I read somewhere that she said how she wants to find out who leaked it. Who leaked it? It was only two of y'all on the phone. So who leaked it, lady? You? Or was it him? Somebody leaked it. But whoever leaked it, now you got to go, because it's out now. People talking about it. You got to go get the Civil Rights Department. Because that's going to make you look bad now if you don't. Because you're an advocate for sexual violence. And it's out now that you were engaged in a conversation on the phone with somebody who's supposed to be making sexual comments and masturbating. But you haven't taken any actions against it. But you're an advocate for sexual violence. This is what's disturbing to me. What is more disturbing to me is that I just read somewhere they said she sat there frozen and listened to the sexual comments and him masturbating. That's the most idiotic shit I've ever fucking heard. She sat there frozen. How do you know that? That's what she told you? Somebody who's being harassed, the immediate reaction would be to get off the phone. You don't sit there and entertain comments and listen to somebody masturbating. You know how many minutes that take of sitting there talking that? But you a sexual advocate for violence. But you claim you sat there frozen and listened to it. You didn't hang the phone up. His sexual comments made you freeze. Can you prove that in court? Do you have video of you in your home or wherever you was on the phone at the time this man was talking to you, of you sitting there frozen? And the only reason they was able to go after him is because he admitted what he was doing over the phone. But this bothers me. What was the phone conversation about in the first place? That's what I want to know. Why were you two conversating on the phone in the first place? He knows her history. He knows she's a sexual rape victim. Now, you mean to tell me, Mel Tucker, I'm talking to you, Mel Tucker. You mean to tell me you was that stupid to sit up and attempt to make sexual comments and masturbate on the phone with a rape victim who was there to advocate against sexual assault? Is that what you're saying? Were you that stupid? Or was this consensual like you said? Because you know how men get. I know how men get. I done it. I done got on the phone to be talking to somebody and all of a sudden, hey, I slipped some shit in. I call that slipping some shit in. And it depends on how long you keep letting me slip that kind of talk in. I done it. I done got on the phone and said some shit. Back in the day, when I was in my quote-unquote the devilish days, I done said some shit to some men on the phone. And it's all about how long you entertain that shit I'm saying. And that's what this case boils down to. How long did she entertain that shit he was saying? This is unbelievable. He got fired because of a goddamn phone call that nobody else heard. I don't think, because nobody said nobody else heard it. It's supposedly a private conversation. And the only reason you got any information to go on is because he went and told that he was making sexual comments and masturbating. You told you was masturbating on the phone. Why would you tell somebody that? I think that was something that would have to come out in court. That's nothing you freely volunteer. Why would you volunteer that? What question was put to you, the reason you told that kind of information instead of telling it in a courtroom? You would jeopardize your $95 million contract by apparently making comments to a rape victim, on the phone. And I'm having a problem with that. We're talking about a $95 million contract here. We're talking about a black man, a white woman who was a rape victim, who was accusing him of harassment. Now, the odds was against Mel Tucker from the beginning. But you don't see what I see. You're not hearing what I'm hearing. I'm hearing shit that don't make sense. If you claiming, why would you sit there? And lady, don't tell me you sat there frozen. Ain't nothing about a man's sexual comments made you freeze. Now, you may have gotten MSU to believe that. You may have gotten the Civil Rights Department to believe that. But I don't believe that. I believe you heard his comments. And they said this phone call took place about 36 or 37 minutes. So you know what they're telling me? Either you was setting this man up or you was liking the conversation. Because I'd be damned if the Civil Rights Department, MSU, you a college, I'd be damned if MSU is going to convince me that this woman entertained harassment for 36, 37 minutes and didn't hang the phone up immediately when she heard the first harassing comment. That's all you had to do, lady. Hang the phone up. Ended it. It would have exploded to this. But we talking about Mel Tucker here. This is a man that has a 10-year, $95 million contract at stake. So you already know what that means. Somebody sitting on the sidelines. It's always somebody sitting on the sidelines when you got that kind of money coming in, waiting for you to fuck up. And now, if you don't fuck up, they gonna cause the fuck up. You see what I'm saying here? That's what it looked like to me. It looked like this was an intentional fuck up to get him and his contract fucked up. That's all I'm saying. This is what I'm seeing here. But they ain't got to listen to me. I'm the one falsely accused of harassment, but that everybody been around here talking about I'm a harasser, but they can't prove how I harassed some damn body. But all the documents show it was the employer made up this whole goddamn thing. But yet I'm the one that's supposed to being accused of harassment, and I ain't never harassed nobody in my motherfucking life. But these idiots around here keep talking about she lying. I ain't no liar. God knows the truth. You keep saying whatever you want about me. In the end, you're going to pay for that lie. All of you going to pay for that lie. All of you keep talking about I'm lying. All you keep talking about I was fired, harassment. Yeah, I was lying. All of you going to pay for that. I'm sorry this happened. This is a phone conversation. And my first question would be, how does a private phone conversation get leaked? And she sat up there and said she want to find out who put it out there. Lady, you must have put it out there. Either he talked about it or you talked about it. Because there was nobody. Or, lo and behold, don't tell me. Here's another scenario. Private phone conversation. Male talking. She's supposed to be froze listening to him masturbating on the phone for 37 minutes. And you expect me to believe that? Okay, here's another scenario. You're talking about who leaked it. If he didn't go talk to his buddies about it, or you didn't go talking about it, did you record the phone call? Is there a recording of the phone call? Or did you have somebody else on the line and he didn't know it while he was doing all this talking? Because that's the only way it could have been leaked. You talked about it, or he talked about it, or there was a third party on the phone and he didn't know it while he was talking about it. Did you record the phone call? This whole thing sounds like a setup to me. It was a setup that cost him his contract. And it was a setup that worked. Every time they initiate this Warren Truck Plant script of what happened to me, this is exactly what happened. You don't win. You end up fired. You end up the accused. You end up looking like you did what you did. Yes, you made some inappropriate comments on the phone. But that even ain't even, and I think it's because you admitted what you said. The reason why MSU was in an uproar, because one, she was a rape victim, and then your behavior with this rape victim on the phone. But they missing the whole goddamn picture. You missing the whole picture. And I can guarantee you, them men on the MSU board that decided to fire him, I guarantee you, we look into you, you done some shit too. You done made some inappropriate comments to some women somewhere. I guarantee you have. And I bet y'all married. I bet you've been around there flirting with people at MSU. But that ain't got out. So you can't tell me men don't do that, because men do that. It ain't right. You risking a lot if you married. You risking a lot if you got a goddamn $93 million contract. And you damn risking a lot if you a black man doing this to a white woman and think you about to win. This woman went and got the Civil Rights Department. The Civil Rights Department. What did Mel Tucker get? Now, it may sound, I'm not taking sides. I'm just putting the facts out of both sides. Because I'm in the middle here. And this harassment shit, I don't give a damn what he said on the phone. This was on the phone. If you'd have came in my office, and I'm MSU, and it's my decision that's going to be the decision to fire this man. You walk into my office. There's a sexual advocate. You tell me something happened on the phone. And I'm supposed to be the one to make the sign the decision to fire this man because of this. You know, let me tell you why I wouldn't have fired him. I would have said it's a civil matter. That's what I would have said. I would have told him it was a civil matter. When they walked in my office with this, I would have told them it's a civil matter. I was like, lady, we hired you to be a sexual advocate here, to speak to the students about rape, sexual assault. That's what we hired you here for. Paid you $10,000. What you do in your private time, what you say on the phone is none of my business. But if they'd have walked in my office and brought this to me, and when you tell me this woman was on the phone 36 minutes listening to this, I'd have told both of them, get your ass out of my office. That's what I would have said. He wouldn't have been fired. I wouldn't have fired him. I wouldn't have fired him because it was a phone conversation. And I know how white women get. And this is a case of behind closed doors, because you don't know what took place on that phone. Now, he told you what he said. He was being honest. And you know what? And like I said, the man blurted it out like as if it was nothing, because it was nothing to him. He was just having a consensual conversation until it got so-called leaked. But who leaked it? Why was she on the phone 37 minutes? And then you claim harassment after 37 minutes? You had every opportunity to end the phone call. Lady, your ass ain't that motherfucking froze. If somebody walked up and slapped the shit out your ass while you was claiming you was froze, I bet your ass moved in. You wasn't that motherfucking froze. That's all that woman had to say. I sat there froze. Now he fired. But did y'all question her about why she was on the phone 37 minutes with it? And you let her get away with saying she sat there froze. And y'all believe that shit? This is just my opinion on it. This is Dirty Trucker. Peace out. No, I ain't no attorney. This is just what I'm seeing in the case. Because it's mimicking everything that happened at Warren Truck Plant. I feel sorry he got fired. But this case don't make sense. That actions of a victim being harassed is not. I don't see it here. If you being harassed, harass people, hangs up immediately. Leave me alone. Stop. That's what they say. Why are you talking to me like that? Get off the phone. If you don't stop, I'm a blah, blah, blah. Did any of this take place? None of this is in the news. None of it. None of this is in the news. You don't hear nothing about her saying anything like that. Why is they leaving that out? They just bringing out everything. They just sitting there letting him talk. Do all the talking. That's a tactic. Tell on yourself. We ain't got to do nothing else. Just sit back and let him talk. And that's what they did. But you ain't let this woman talk. What's her side of it? We want to hear the harassment side. Okay, he said he did phone sex. Okay, but then I also heard this woman was on the phone with him for 36, 37 goddamn minutes. You got to tell me some more of this shit to justify firing somebody with a $95 million contract. And you telling me she sat there froze for 37 damn minutes. How did you get unfroze? Somebody doused some warm water on your motherfucking ass? Oh, yo, no, it sounds to me you sat there long enough for him to say enough so you can go to the Civil Rights Department and say you was being harassed. I don't believe that you sat there froze. I can't believe y'all let her sit there and tell you she sat there froze. What else did she do? Did she say stop? Get off my phone. Look, don't talk to me like that. Don't call me anymore. What comments did she make? That's what a victim would be doing. Not sit there and entertain a phone call with masturbation included for 36, 37 damn minutes. It's fucking bullshit.